substitution. So what is meant by substitution? Well, it's really just a case of replacing a letter with its value given in the question. So if you've got a letter, it will also have a number written next to it with an equals sign in the middle. And so that's what we call a value. So you might have t equals 0, and that is there to help you out. So if t is the variable and 0 is just a value, and you can use it in other formulas or equations to work out a specific variable. So it's really just a case of replacing a letter with its value given in question. And now let's highlight this, and that's highlighting because it's really important. Okay, so let's try this example. The example is find the value of v when u equals 0, a equals 5, and t equals 6 in the equation v equals u plus at. You do not need to specify any units. Okay. So I'd advise that you read the question again just in case you missed out some important words or some important information, and if you read it the second time around, then you will understand the question much more better as well. So let's read the question again. Find the value of v when u equals 0, a equals 5, and t equals 6 in the equation v equals u plus at. You don't need to specify any units. Okay, so write the formula down. So v equals to u plus at. Okay, so we're going to replace. So first of all, we don't know the value of v, and that's what we're going to find. So say v equals to u plus at. So we're going to replace the value of u into its value here in the formula. So it's going to be, so wherever there's a u, we're going to put a 0. So because there's a u here and there's a u here, we're going to put a value. So we're going to replace the u with a 0. We're going to do the same with the a. So a equals 5, replace the a with 5. At is a times t, so we're going to do open bracket. Wherever there's a t, replace it with a 6. Close bracket. This is 0 plus 30. 5 times 6 is 30, which is 30. So it doesn't specify for any units, but in some questions you might need to specify some units, but because you don't know the context of this equation, you don't need to use any units, and those are great days. Okay, next question. So next example is let's rub that off. So what's our next example? So next example is find the value of r in centimeters. So it's told us what it wants its answer in. So the measurement it wants it in is centimeters. So find the value of radius r in centimeters when the area A is 60 centimeters squared. Give your answer to one decimal place. Okay, first of all, you should be able to recognize and recall the formula of area of a circle, because if you can't, then I will advise that you go over the equation, you understand what the equation is about, and memorize it, because in this new specification you're not given this formula in the formula sheet, and if you don't know the formula and there's a question about it, then you're screwed. So I'll advise first of all knowing what the equation of a circle, not the equation, the area of a circle is. So area of the circle is A stands for area, which is equal to pi times the radius squared. So what is A? A is area of a circle, pi is just a number, and the radius is r, so pi times r squared equals a, or a equals pi times radius squared. So learn this equation, and there's another equation that's related but not so related, but it's also c equals to pi d, or c equals to 2 pi r. Okay, so this is c for circumference of a circle, pi is a constant, d is a diameter, and c equals 2 pi r also, because the diameter is 2 times the radius, and so you can write that as that. Either form is okay, it will give you the same answer, but these are the golden formulas that you need to know, because if you don't know them, then you will not understand the question whatsoever. So let me just draw a diagram to tell you, to illustrate by what I mean. So if this is a circle, do mind my circle, it's not really good. Or you know what, let's rub this off. Let's rub this circle off and draw shape. So we got a lovely circle here. That's a nice, why did that rub off? Okay, that's our circle. So we got a circle here. Okay, and now let's annotate the circle. So this is our center, this is our radius, and oh, that's not going good. That's a bit wonky, and this is our diameter. So this is the diameter and this is the radius, and the diameter is 2 times the radius. Okay, so let's read the question again. Find the value of radius r in centimeters when the area A is 60 centimeters squared. Give your answer to 1 decimal place. So you have to give your answer to 1 decimal place, otherwise you'll lose an accuracy mark in your exam, and that's obviously a loss of 1 mark, and this question can be 2 marks. So these are just silly mistakes that you have to avoid. So we know the area is 60. Okay, so 60 equals to pi times r squared, but we want radius. So what we can do is let's divide by pi on the right hand side and on the left hand side. So that means that you've got 60 over pi equals to r squared. Okay, so it's r squared. To work out what r is, we have to square root the answer. So let's square root on both sides, and then you should get r equals to the square root of 60 over pi. So that's the square root of all of the answer that we worked out previously. And so put this in your calculator, and you should get an answer of 4.4 centimeters to 1 decimal place. .4 centimeters to 1 decimal place. So that's that. So see if you've missed anything out, and if you have, then, so have we missed anything out? No, seems like we've answered the question. So the radius is 4.4 centimeters. And a question, so another forward question could be, oh, work out the diameter. And you know the diameter is 2 times the radius. So it's just going to be 8.8 to 1 decimal place. But that's not the question. And the question was just to work out the radius. So let's review what I mean. So A equals pi r squared. Please remember this formula. In the new specification, they test you on this, and do whatever you can. Memorize it, put it on a flashcard, memorize it using a technique that works best for you, and just remember this formula. And equally goes to this formula as well. C equals pi d. Circumference equals pi times the diameter, which is the same as circumference equals to 2 pi r, which is 2 times pi times r. So also remember this. So these are the important formulas. So let me just put a star nearby important formulas that you need to know. This is there to help you out. The diameter is this. So these are the key words. Diameter is just 2 radiuses lined together, and a radius is half the diameter. Yep. Then we know that A equals 60 because it tells us that the area is 60 centimeters squares. Forget about units here, just make sure that you get all the numbers and letters together. Then what we've done is we've divided by pi on both sides because we want r squared. So then we get 60 divided by pi equals r squared, which is r times r. And you want to undo that. The only way to undo that is to square root both sides. And if you square root both sides, you're going to get r equals the square root of 60 over pi, which is 4.4 centimeters to 1 decimal place. Yep, we're good to go. So next question is an exam question. So if you want to pause it, please do have an attempt at it and then unpause it, and I should go over it. And yeah, just pause the video and have a go. So hopefully now you would have unpaused the video and now you're just trying to see if you've got the right answer. And let's go over it now. Okay, so I'm reading the question. The amount of medicine in S mils to give a child can be worked out using the formula. Okay, S equals 8m over 150. S is the amount of medicine in mils. A is the adult dose in mils. M is the age of the child in months. Age child is 20 months old. Okay, so I know that 20 months is M. Okay, so M equals 20 and adult's dose is 45. Okay, so that means that A equals to 45 and it's telling us to work out what S is. Okay, so let me write that down. So first of all, let's work out what A is. A is the adult dose and the adult's dose is 45. And then we also know M, which is the month, how old the child is in months, and that is 20. Let's undo that. So therefore, S, which is the amount of medicine, is 45 times 20 over 150. Which is 6 mils. Obviously, if this was a non-calculator paper, then you will need to use your head, but if not, you've always got a calculator to help you out. And The answer is 6 mils. If you've got it right, well done. And if you're still struggling, please do watch this video again to understand the concept of substitution.